collective action. You know, I'm really, really grateful to be your Lieutenant Governor, serving alongside Maura Healey, our kick-ass governor. You know, it's really funny. Maura and I didn't know each other that well before teaming up. I mean, we knew each other, but we didn't have to work closely together. She was a can-do AG. I like to think I was the can-do mayor in Salem, and we partnered up, and I just could not have been more fortunate to work along somebody who's smart, who's committed, who really guides us every single day with a sense of urgency and recognizes this moment that we're in. And it really is a moment. If you think about all the places you might be able to live in this country, I'm really grateful to be living in Massachusetts. Yeah! Really grateful. And I say that as someone who's lived in a lot of places. I'm a Navy brat. I was born in Hawaii. We lived all over. My mom is from Trinidad, very much a bicultural family. And I came to Massachusetts to go to college like a lot of people, and I never left. I fell in love with a place that makes the impossible possible, that knows what it's like to stretch for goals, that understands the power of collective action, a place that cares about each other. Right now in Massachusetts, we have the #1 public schools, #1 innovation economy, #1 for healthcare. Just this week, we were named the best state to live in 2 years running. Yeah. Safety state, best drinking water, like I could go on. It's a long list of #1s in recognition. And that's not something that just happens by accident. It happens because people here care. They give a damn. They care about their neighbors. They care about each other. They care about getting better every single day. And that's what we're driving for in government. You know, there's a lot of people in Washington who want people to believe that government doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's in charge. Like, it's an obstacle. It's a barrier. Folks who are working in government or public service are in the way. Well, that's not true when you're #1 in education, #1 in innovation, the place that gets the most science grants, 6,000 clinical trials in Massachusetts every day, saving lives, drug treatments, life-saving therapies, inventing vaccines, childhood cancers. We know what the power of government means. And for us who are lucky enough to be in these roles of privilege, to be able to shape policies and shift resources, and be in a position to listen and act, that's responsibility we take seriously. That's why we've made some of the largest contributions in housing, our #1 issue in our Commonwealth's history, making sure more young adults can stay here and that our older adults can live in here with dignity and respect. We don't have enough housing anywhere in this Commonwealth, and a heck of a lot of it isn't affordable, and we're losing young people. And look, I get that's a hard issue. In the Southeast, it's a hard issue, and other parts of this Commonwealth, it's a hard issue. But if we really care about the next generation, Kelly, who just was up here killing it with that song, and others who are here, they want to do the things that most of us did when we were young adults. Our #1 outmigration of population in Massachusetts is 26 to 35-year-olds. They're leaving because they can't find affordable housing, something that many of us did when we were 26 to 35 years old. Please help us find the places we can build, not anywhere. Make sure it's affordable. That's up to us locally. We're not curing cancer. We know what we need to do to address housing crisis. We need to build more housing. We've invested $5 billion in that in partnership with the legislature. We know when you're talking about housing, you got to talk about transportation. That's why we're putting those fair share dollars to work. The MBTA is working. Commuter rail is working. It's here on the South Coast. We know when we build public transit, people will take it. And 80% of roads are local. We just doubled the amount of money for Chapter 90 for cities and towns to improve their roadways. You can't talk about housing and transportation and not talk about education. The other major role for those of us who are fortunate enough to be in government, working for our schools. I know we've got school committee members here to ensure that they've got the resources they need. Our early youngest learners, investing in high dosage tutoring, early literacy programs, and making things like community college free and available to all. We've seen double-digit increases in community college. And let me tell you why that's important. A lot of people are going to need an on-ramp for new jobs and new training. We know what's happening with AI and technology. And this is the on-ramp to be able to go and get a degree, get a credential, put yourself in a position for economic mobility. Doesn't happen by accident. That's government saying, let's play a role in ensuring that the next generation can move forward, that folks have a shot at getting better. And frankly, Democrats and working families, we used to be the lunch bucket party. I think we're a little bit more the Whole Foods party now, and we got to make sure we get back to those bread and butter issues. I was a mayor for 17 years. You know what people care about? Schools, jobs, ensuring they're growing, their communities getting better and stronger and vibrant. And that's what we care about as Democrats, making sure you have accessible health care. That's why it makes no sense that we've got people in Washington who want to take away health care. That is not a good plan for anybody. That's going to increase the cost of health care for you. That's going to take away a basic right that people have. And here in Massachusetts, we're one of the first states to have universal health care. It's made a difference. That's why we have a state of living, an age of living that's a little bit longer. That's why we're a great place with great health care access. So look, I just want to say it's really important that we do come together and celebrate the things that make collective action work in Massachusetts. And when we act as a state here, other states follow. We were those original disruptors. You know, the rest of the country is going to be celebrating the 250th anniversary of American democracy in 2026. Here in Massachusetts, we started 2 years ago with the 250th anniversary of the Boston Tea Party. That was us. Troublemakers, disruptors, throwing the tea in the harbor. Earlier this year, we were in Lexington and Concord celebrating the first shot in the American Revolution. These were ordinary, at the time, ordinary citizens. There were farmers and laborers and shopkeepers who decided they were willing to risk life and limb to take on the greatest military empire known to mankind in search of something they didn't know how it would end. Self-governance, fundamental freedoms, democratic ideas. That's who they were. The power of collective action. And 250 years later, something that started right here still exists today. And here in our state, we just don't celebrate that history. We work hard to live up to it. That means for us, diversity, equity, and inclusion, those are not dirty words. We think we're better when we come together. In our administration, we think none of us are as smart as all of us. Let's put all the heads around the table to solve our toughest challenges. And when we come together and talk about ideals tied to things like marriage equality and reproductive freedoms, and caring about immigrants in a nation of immigrants, those aren't just democratic ideals, those are American ideals. That's what we're for. So 250 years ago, we were the beacon. We were the troublemakers. We were the leaders. Today, that is still going to be the case. We will be the beacon here in Massachusetts by standing up for the things we believe in, calling out those harms out of Washington, and making sure the rest of the states see that. We'll be the backstop for the worst of it, and the place that you know you can come to, but we still care about each other. We're a commonwealth. We care about our neighbors, and we're willing to fight together for collective action. And that's what you being here means today. And I'll close with this. Our toughest challenges, the biggest issues we're facing, they're not going to be solved from some cavalry coming out of Washington. They're going to be solved by people like us in this room, coming together, standing up, calling it out, and being willing to work hard to deliver. That's what we do in Massachusetts. Go get them, Democrats. I've got one more special thing to do while I'm here. Some of you in this room may know I had a birthday earlier this month. Any Leo energy in the room? Any other Leos? Yeah, all right, let's hear it for the Leos. And I'm so grateful that we have somebody in this room who's also celebrating his birthday today. He is the father of our state rep, Ray Sylvia. Come on up, Ray. We weren't going to let this day go unnoticed, and I have a governor's proclamation on behalf of the residents of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I'm pleased to confer upon you this citation in recognition of your 80th birthday. Yeah, come on up. On this milestone occasion, we commend you as a dedicated public servant, having served as a Medicaid fraud investigator with the AG's office and in various roles with Bristol County Sheriff's Department. We honor your New Bedford roots, Fairhaven High School education, and Southeastern Massachusetts University degree. That's SMU, old school. Your many years as the husband of Jeanette Ledoux Sylvia and father of the amazing Mark Sylvia. It actually says amazing in here. They truly are a testament to a journey well lived. The Commonwealth celebrates your health and happiness and wishes you all the best. And it's signed by both Maura Healey and myself as Lieutenant Governor.
Just one thing to say. Defend democracy. Yeah. It means so much.
Okay, Ray, you can't go too far.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.